Last year, my Etsy shop sales were down 44%. Is this because of the algorithm change people keep asking me about? Let's dig into this. So it's not just my sales. My views, sales and revenue are the worst I've had since 2014. And I know I'm not alone. So I wanted to show you, so if you're in the same boat as me, how we can figure out what has caused our sales to be low and hopefully what we can do to start increasing them again. Is it due to the Etsy algorithm? Because lots of people have asked me if their sales are crashing because of the change in the Etsy algorithm. What can we do about this to make 2022 our best year ever selling on Etsy? It is so important to be proactive. Just saying the changes are due to an Etsy algorithm change is so defeatist. If we say this, then we believe that there is nothing we can do to make things better. And even if it is to do with an algorithm change, we need to understand what it is that's changed so we know what things we need to do differently to get more sales. How can we move with these times and keep one step ahead of our competition? Because trust me, some of your competition will be struggling as well. So step one that I want you all to do, and if you're joining me in with this, if your sales are down, let me know in the comments below. Just let me know, yep, I'm in, Pam, I'm working with you. Step one is to check your Etsy stats. We want to dig right in and check the whole year if possible. This is a big picture check. We want a sweeping to know what is the big things that's changed. Day-to-day changes, not as important. What is the big picture? Click here to compare the previous period. Bear in mind, of course, we all know 2020 was an odd year, but we can still get some data here. Good data. So the graphs are nice to look at. They show me all of 2021. I'm down except for January. That's nice, but for the big, useful data, you need to scroll down. We want to look at how shoppers found you. This is a great breakdown and we can see which traffic sources are really up or down. So, is the Etsy algorithm to blame? There are two places here we can see the results, people finding us from the Etsy search. And this, if the algorithm has changed, this is where we would see dropping. Etsy app and the Etsy search. So one shows slightly up and the other slightly down over the year. But honestly, in the great big scheme of things, that's pretty much the same. And actually, when I was comparing month by month through the year, and you can do this by picking custom dates here, I noticed that in both these places, I was up at the start of the year and that slowly dropped away towards the end of the year. And to me, that's suggesting not a sudden change, but I was slowly starting to rank less well because I was making sales and getting views from the other sources. And these are all important to factor in with Etsy search. So basically, it's a downward spiral. If something changes and you're not getting seen from the other places that you were getting views from in the past, that starts to send less good signals to Etsy that your item's great. It starts to show you less in search. You start to rank less in search. So to me, looking at these numbers, Etsy search, the Etsy algorithm is not the issue in my shop just now. Looking, direct traffic is actually up over 2020, so I'm doing okay there. So really, I don't need to focus too much on this, and this does not actually bring me that many sales. This is generally from people watching me here on YouTube and wanting a nosy at my shop, or people checking from Facebook. Neither of these platforms are places where people are directly shopping, so the conversion is much lower. So I don't want to put too much work into that to drive traffic to my shop, because it's not really worth the effort. And that's why I don't tend to big up my shop on YouTube. The Etsy ads are down, but I switched them off after I discovered how terribly they were performing, so that makes sense that they're down. I could put them back on to get that metric up, but the return on ad spend was fairly terrible, so it'd be costing me money to make these sales. That's perhaps an experiment for the future to see if getting the extra sales from the ads will actually increase my organic sales over time as I start to get more reviews from customers who were happy that when they'd bought something through the ads. But, and you've probably noticed this, there are two places where there are huge decreases in my views. The first is Etsy marketing and SEO, and I get it. When people read that, that is the first thing they go, my Etsy marketing and SEO is down, therefore that's the algorithm. That's because this name is a little bit confusing. And I can see when I click on this that basically after January I fell off the map with views from this. So this really feels like a big culprit. And this is mainly views coming from off-site ads. And historically, I've seen where my sales have come from, that in general, off-site ads for me works best with Google ads. I get the most results for that. So from January last year, my shop fell off the map for Google ads. So for me, this is an important place to look. I know the ads, there's the 15% I have to pay if I make a sale from them, but they were bringing in some good sales. So thinking about it, what could have gone wrong here? My items might have been shown less on Google ads. This could be because there's more competition, more people aiming for adverts for the keywords that mine were showing up before on. It could be a change in the Google ads algorithm, how they decide to show people on what platform. Or it could be less people searching for the keywords that my items were doing well for in the past. So this is really something for me to look into. Are my keywords not as good, or are people searching for different things? And also it's important to check Google ad policies. Are my items breaking any new rules? I will be checking that as well. The second place where I've seen a very big drop is social media. And this has a drop down where you can see what sources, what platforms of social media you're getting views from. I've heard rumours that Pinterest made some big changes last year, and it looks like this might well be the case. Something has changed here. So digging into my data instead of just having a pity party has given me some ideas of what I can work on. And don't get me wrong, I understand when you need your Etsy sales to make a living, this is so stressful. But sitting complaining in the Etsy forums, being in an echo chamber with everyone saying, yes, it's entirely Etsy's fault, doesn't help you. We need action. So were my sales down to an Etsy algorithm change? No, it really doesn't look like it. And even if they were, the point of the Etsy algorithm is to find the right listings to show to buyers that they're more likely to buy. Year on year, the data we are getting from Etsy is it's making more sales, and it's making a higher percentage of sales from the front page. So this data that Etsy is looking at is telling it that the algorithm is doing better at finding the right listing. The sad thing is your item might not be the right listing. Somebody else's listing that wasn't doing so good as yours, when shown more often, might convert slightly better. So you might have had years and years and years of really great sales, but the algorithm's having a check and it's found that your item is now not the best one that it can show. So if I looked and I saw that it was a change in the algorithm that was causing my listings to plummet, I wouldn't be saying this is terrible, this is Etsy's fault. I would be saying this is now the time for me to do better. But for me, my views and sales and everything else were down because of Google ads and Pinterest. And actually, I see this as kind of good. If I learn to optimize better for these two places, this will help me even if I decide to stop selling on Etsy. If I learn how to work Google ads, if I learn how to work Pinterest, then I'm going to be able to drive my own traffic to whatever platform I want, if one day it's my own website. So, what's my action plan? Firstly, I'm going to research the changes. What happened in the last year? Are my items breaking any rules to be seen in these places? I'm going to identify the keywords that people found me for. Now, Etsy is not great at this, so I'm going to dig into Google Analytics. I want to check the seasonality of these keywords. I want to be more consistent on social media. I am quite bad for the boom and bust type approach to marketing. I get all inspired and I will do an absolute ton of posting on social media for a few weeks, then I'll get burnt out and do nothing. And I'm going to experiment with different listings. I'm already starting to work on that, different types of photography, different SEO, just to see what else hits. And of course, I'm going to share everything step by step here. Every experiment and what's working and what's not working. So you're going to want to subscribe to this YouTube channel if you want to follow my adventures in getting more sales. And my next video, I'm going to show you how I use Google Analytics to find the keywords that people were finding me for Google ads. Let me know in the comments down below if your sales were up or down. And most importantly, which traffic source for you is your weak point.